This is a remembrance, a call to rise as the architect of your own existence. The laws that shape the stars, the tides, the turning of seasons, they move through you. You are not separate from the canvas of life. You are the hand that paints, the voice that commands, the silent architect scripting reality from the sacred chambers within. Introduction: The Blueprint Beneath Your Breath. This is not just an audiobook. This is a reawakening, a sacred unveiling of the truth that has always pulsed beneath your skin, beneath your breath, beneath every heartbeat you've ever felt. The architect of reality is not a distant power. It is you. It is the silent sculptor behind every thought you think, every feeling you harbor, every whispered desire you dare to hold close. And though the world may have told you that life happens to you, that you are a passenger on this ship called fate, the truth, ancient and unwavering, whispers otherwise. You are the builder, the dreamer, the architect of your existence. The blueprint has always been etched within your being, waiting for you to remember. The universe, the vast, unending sea of stars and silence, moves in patterns, sacred designs written into the very fabric of time itself. These designs are not locked away in some distant galaxy, hidden from your reach. No, they live within you, coded into your cells, humming in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. The same power that guides the rivers toward the ocean, that coaxes the sun to rise, that urges the seed to break open and reach for light, that power beats within your chest. You were never separate from the great design. You are woven into it, a strand in the sacred web of creation, both participant and creator. And now, this moment, this sacred now, is your invitation to remember. This audiobook is not here to teach you something new. No, my friend, it is here to remind you of what you have always known but perhaps have forgotten. The world can be loud, distracting you with its glittering illusions and endless noise. It can make you believe that power lies somewhere out there, in the hands of others, in the shifting sands of circumstance. But the deeper truth, the eternal truth, is this: everything you need to create, to shape, to design the life you desire, lives within you already. You are the architect, and your mind, your emotions, your beliefs are the blueprints from which your reality is formed. What you assume to be true, what you hold as certain in the sacred silence of your mind, must appear in your world. This is the law of assumption, the law of creation, the law that governs all things seen and unseen. It is as constant as the breath that rises and falls within you, as reliable as the cycle of the moon and the turning of the tides. You may not have known it, but every thought you have believed, every assumption you have held, has been quietly laying the bricks of your existence. Your life, as it stands now, is the house built from those unseen hands, your thoughts shaping walls, your beliefs setting the roof. But this is not a cause for despair if the house is not to your liking. No, this is a reason to rejoice, because if you built this, you can build again. You can redesign, reshape, reconstruct. The architect of reality within you holds the pen, and the page is ever blank, ready for new lines to be drawn. The power is not outside of you. It has never been. You need only to turn inward, to listen, to remember. And this is where we begin. Not with striving, not with efforting or forcing, but with a sacred pause. A moment to return to the blueprint etched in your soul. This audiobook will not ask you to work harder. It will not call you to labor for your dreams. Instead, it invites you to remember the power of your assumption, the quiet force of your belief, the effortless alignment with the patterns of creation. Together, we will journey through the hidden architecture of the universe. We will peel back the layers of illusion that have told you to wait, to hope, to chase. And we will stand in the quiet knowing that what you assume to be true becomes. Throughout these chapters, you will meet the invisible laws that shape the visible world. You will come to understand how your inner conversations are not mere musings, but sacred decrees, shaping the very clay of your existence. We will explore the silent power of feeling, the language of the universe that needs no words. You will discover that the state you dwell in, the feeling state you choose to embody, is the signal that calls forth your world. No action can override the assumption you carry within, for that is the blueprint, and the outer world is but the building that rises from it. Let this audiobook be a mirror, reflecting back the truth you may have forgotten. Let it be a sacred invitation to step into your rightful place as the architect, to hold the pen and the compass, to draw new lines upon the canvas of your life. This is not positive thinking, this is the law. And the law does not bend for anyone. It only reflects. So, I ask you now, as we stand at the threshold of this remembering, can you feel it? The stirring in your chest, the knowing beneath the noise, the quiet recognition that you were made for more than drifting through life? You were born to create, to shape, to command reality with the silent power of your being. The architect of reality stirs within you, and this journey will awaken the blueprint that has always been written in your soul. Breathe deeply now, and know, the world you desire already exists in the sacred chambers of your mind. Together, we will bring it forth. Together, we will awaken the architect within. Chapter 1. The Silent Foundation. Before any building rises, before any monument pierces the sky, there is a foundation, silent, unseen, yet essential. Without it, even the grandest structure will crumble under its own weight. And so it is with your life. The outer world you see, the experiences you touch, the circumstances you walk through daily, all stand upon an invisible foundation laid deep within the sacred chambers of your consciousness. But unlike brick and mortar, this foundation is not laid with your hands. It is formed by your thoughts, by your assumptions, by the quiet inner stories you repeat without even noticing. Every belief you hold, every feeling you dwell in, is a stone placed within this unseen bedrock. Whether you are aware or not, you have been building, shaping, laying groundwork every moment of your life. And the truth is this: the strength of your outer world rests entirely on the firmness of that inner foundation. This is the silent architecture that upholds all manifestation. The blueprint is not written in the stars, but etched within the lines of your own mind. Pause with me now. Feel into this truth. There have been times, perhaps many, when you looked at your life and wondered why things crumbled, why relationships faltered, why dreams slipped through your fingers, why abundance seemed just beyond reach. And though you may have searched outward for answers, blamed circumstances, or even fate, the foundation was always speaking to you. It whispered in the quiet between thoughts, calling you back inward, asking you to inspect the stones upon which your life was built. There's a story of a man named Elias, a humble mason in a quiet village by the sea. Day after day, he built walls and homes for others, ensuring their structures stood firm against the ocean winds. But in his own life, he struggled to keep his family's small cottage upright. Every storm brought leaks. Every winter chilled the bones of the home. And it wasn't until he tore away the floorboards that he saw the foundation had never been laid properly. Years of patching the roof and mending the walls had done nothing to secure the base. It was the ground beneath that needed rebuilding. Elias's cottage is not unlike the lives many of us construct. We mend surface problems, apply quick fixes, chase temporary solutions, but rarely do we pause to look beneath, to ask, what am I standing on? What assumptions lie hidden beneath my actions? What stories am I telling myself in the quiet? This chapter is your invitation to pause, to peel back the floorboards of your own life and examine the silent foundation, because the truth is, you are always building. Every thought is a brick, every assumption mortar, every feeling a layer of stone. The question is, are you building upon firm ground or upon sand? And here is the profound key. Your foundation is not fixed. It is alive, breathing with your every thought and feeling. You can rebuild. You can clear the ground, lay new stones, and erect a stronger base from which your reality rises. But this work begins in silence, in stillness, in the sacred space where your thoughts first take shape. The outer world cannot be stronger than the inner world that supports it. If you build a palace upon assumptions of lack, of fear, of unworthiness, the palace will lean, falter, crumble. But build upon a foundation of abundance, of worthiness, of unshakable belief, and the world you erect will stand firm against any storm. So, I ask you now, what is your foundation made of? Are your assumptions steady or shifting like sand? Do you believe, truly believe, that you are worthy of love, of wealth, of peace? Or do cracks of doubt run beneath your surface, hidden but powerful enough to shake the ground? Your silent foundation is the first step in becoming the architect of your reality, and it begins with awareness. It begins with daring to look beneath the surface. Sacred builder, it is time to survey the ground upon which you stand. Practice the survey of assumptions. Tonight, before you sleep, find a quiet place, a space where you can sit undisturbed as the world softens into silence. Close your eyes, breathe deeply. Allow your awareness to sink beneath the surface, like diving into the earth of your being. Ask yourself, what assumptions am I living from? Am I assuming that life is hard, that love is scarce, that success is only for others? Let these answers arise without judgment, without needing to fix or change them. This is only a survey, a sacred inventory of the stones beneath your feet. As each assumption surfaces, thank it. Honor it for what it has built, even if the structure is no longer what you desire. Then choose one assumption that no longer serves you, just one, and whisper to yourself, I release this, and I lay a new stone in its place. Replace it with a new assumption, one that supports the life you are ready to build. For example, if the old stone is, I am unworthy of wealth, replace it with, I am the embodiment of abundance. Feel this new stone settle into place. Feel the ground beneath you grow steadier. Repeat this practice each night for 7 days, inspecting the foundation, laying new stones, crafting a base that can hold the life you truly desire. Remember, before any palace can rise, the ground must be strong. Chapter 2. The Blueprint of Belief. Before the hand shape clay, before the brush meets canvas, there is a vision, a design held quietly in the heart of the Creator. It is unseen but essential, the invisible plan from which all forms arise. And so it is with you. Your life, the circumstances that surround you, the opportunities that unfold, the relationships that weave in and out, all are built from a blueprint that exists long before action is ever taken. This blueprint is your belief. Belief is not merely an idea you think. It is the deep, unspoken knowing that lives beneath your words, beneath even your conscious thoughts. It is the pattern etched into the soil of your subconscious, the invisible architecture that shapes every corner of your world. While you may speak of hope or wish for change, it is belief that writes the design. Hope can flicker like a candle in the wind, but belief builds walls, lays roads, forges paths. Consider the builder who steps onto a vacant lot. The soil may be bare, the horizon empty, but in his mind's eye, a grand structure already stands. He sees it long before the first stone is laid. He believes in its form, in its possibility, And that belief guides every action. Without that inner vision, no blueprint would exist, no foundation would be poured, no walls would rise. So too with you. The life you live today is the house built from the blueprint of your beliefs. If you believe the world is scarce, your life will reflect scarcity. If you believe love is distant, your relationships will echo that distance. Not because the world conspires against you, but because your inner architect has designed it so. This is not to blame, but to empower. Because the blueprint can be redrawn. The design is not fixed. The sacred architect within you holds the power to erase, to sketch anew, to dream a different dream. But to do so, you must first see the blueprint clearly. You must dare to look at the beliefs that have quietly written the lines of your life. There is a story of Marin, a seamstress in a bustling market town. Every day she stitched clothes for others, her hands steady, her work praised. But beneath her skill, she carried a belief that she was destined for struggle. Her mother had struggled, her grandmother before her. She believed that no matter how hard she worked, wealth would always slip through her fingers. And so it did. Year after year, she worked tirelessly, yet her pockets remained light, her spirit wearied. One evening, as the sun set behind the market stalls, Marin sat alone, her fingers tracing the worn seams of her apron. She asked herself, what if this belief is the thread weaving my life? That question opened a door. Slowly, she began to examine the blueprint she had inherited, not just from her own mind, but from generations before. And in that quiet awareness, she found the courage to draw new lines. She began to believe that ease was possible, that abundance could flow without struggle. It was not easy at first. The old blueprint tried to hold its ground. But with each day, she redrew the design. She spoke to herself differently. She stitched new assumptions into the fabric of her mind, and soon the outer world responded. Opportunities arose where before there were none. Her work expanded. Her life softened into the flow she had once believed impossible. Your life, too, has been stitched by unseen hands, your own hands, holding beliefs you may not even realize are there. The first step in awakening the architect within you is to become aware of these beliefs, to see the lines drawn on your inner blueprint. And here is the sacred truth. Belief is not something you must force. It is something you choose. It is the state you dwell in, the lens through which you view yourself and the world. And the universe, the great builder, responds not to your wishes, but to your beliefs. You may wish for abundance, but if you believe in lack, lack will build the walls of your experience. You may wish for love, but if you believe in rejection, rejection will stand at your door. The outer world reflects the inner blueprint with perfect precision. But this is not cause for fear. It is the greatest liberation. Because the architect can always return to the drawing board. You can choose to believe differently. And when you do, the universe must respond. It has no choice. The blueprint dictates the form. So ask yourself now, what beliefs have drawn the lines of my life? Do you believe you are worthy of wealth, of joy, of ease? Or have you allowed old patterns, old stories to sketch limits where there should be freedom? Practice redrawing the blueprint. Each morning, before the day builds its momentum, find a quiet space. Sit comfortably, spine tall, eyes closed. Breathe deeply into the silence. Picture your life as a blueprint spread out before you. See the lines, the patterns, the shapes they create. Now, choose one area of your life, a place where you feel constricted, limited, or bound. Perhaps it is finances, relationships, health. Ask yourself, what belief has drawn this design? Allow the answer to surface without judgment. Then, gently, with the authority of the architect, redraw the line. Speak a new belief into the silence. If the old belief was, "I must work hard to survive," replace it with, "I am supported by the flow of abundance." If the old belief was, "Love is hard to find," replace it with, "I am worthy of deep and effortless love." Feel this new belief settle into your being. See the blueprint shift before your eyes, the lines realigning, the patterns softening into new shapes. Repeat this practice each day for the next 7 days. Each time, choose a different area of life or the same one, deepening the new design. Speak your new belief aloud, letting it echo through the chambers of your heart. Remember, the universe builds what you design. You are the architect. The blueprint begins within. Chapter 3. The Architect's Voice. There is a voice that speaks within you long before you open your lips, a silent murmur that shapes the soil of your experience. You might not hear it with your ears, but you feel its echo in the life that unfolds around you. This is the voice of the architect, the quiet current beneath every thought, the steady hand that drafts the blueprint of your reality. And whether you are aware of it or not, it is always speaking, always building. Your inner dialogue, those quiet conversations you have with yourself, are not idle musings. They are sacred commands, whispered instructions to the universe that shape the scaffolding of your existence. The tone of these conversations, the assumptions they carry, the emotions they stir, all become the raw materials from which your life is constructed. Think back for a moment to a time when something you feared came to pass. Perhaps it was a missed opportunity, a fractured relationship, a door that seemed to close just when you longed for it to open. Did it not seem as though your worst fears were somehow confirmed by the world outside? And yet, those fears were often whispered long before they became facts. The architect's voice had spoken of loss, of lack, of limitation, and the universe, in its unwavering obedience, simply built what the voice designed. But the same is true for your victories. The moments when doors opened, when joy appeared seemingly unbidden, when love flowed with ease. Somewhere within, the architect's voice had softened into trust, into knowing, into assumption of good. And so the outer world responded, as it always does. This is the silent power of your inner voice. It is not passive. It is a creator, a builder, a weaver of form. And yet, for many, it remains unchecked, unobserved, speaking on autopilot the old stories inherited from childhood, from society, from past wounds. But when you awaken to this voice, when you begin to guide it, to shape its tone, to craft its words with intention, you step into the role of master architect. You speak, and reality listens. Consider the story of Anya, a young woman whose days were spent in quiet routine, caring for others, never asking for more. Her inner voice whispered constantly, "I am not important. My desires are secondary. I must give and expect nothing in return." And so, the world reflected back to her a life of scarcity, not in material things, but in recognition, in fulfillment, in joy. One evening, standing at the window of her small apartment, watching the lights flicker in distant buildings, Anya heard the echo of her own voice for the first time. Not the words spoken aloud, but the ones that hummed beneath the surface. And in that moment, she chose to change the tone. She whispered to herself, "I am worthy of joy. I am allowed to receive." Those words, tentative at first, began to reshape the blueprint of her life. In time, the world responded. Invitations arrived, love appeared, joy expanded. The architect's voice had changed its song. And so I ask you now, what does your voice speak when no one is listening? When the world grows quiet and you are left alone with your thoughts, what are the conversations that play in the background? Are they words of limitation or of possibility, of fear or of faith, of doubt or of certainty? The power to shape your world lies not in what you do, but in what you say within yourself. The universe does not respond to outward effort alone, but to the frequency of your inner dialogue. Every word, every phrase, every silent assumption is a brick laid in the structure of your reality. And here is the sacred truth. You can change the architect's voice. You can speak differently to yourself. You can replace words of lack with words of abundance, words of fear with words of courage, words of doubt with words of certainty. And when you do, the blueprint shifts. The walls begin to rise in a new design. Practice rewriting the inner conversation. Tonight, as the world softens into dusk, find a quiet corner. Sit in stillness, close your eyes, and listen, not to the sounds outside, but to the voice within. Notice the tone, the content, the rhythm of your inner conversation. Choose one recurring phrase that no longer serves you. Perhaps it is, "I am not enough," or "Things never work out for me." Hold this phrase gently in your awareness. Do not resist it. Simply recognize it as a brick in your current foundation. Then, with intention, replace it. Craft a new phrase that speaks to the reality you wish to build. If the old phrase was, "I am not enough," speak instead, "I am the embodiment of wholeness and worth." If the old voice whispered, "I always fail," speak instead, "I am aligned with success in every form." Speak this new phrase aloud. Let it echo in the silence. Repeat it each morning and night, allowing it to settle into the soil of your subconscious, where the blueprint is drawn. Remember, words are not idle. They are the tools of the architect. And you, dear one, hold the power to shape your inner voice and, in doing so, reshape your world. Chapter 4. Feeling is the foundation. Long before the structure takes shape, before the walls rise or the windows gleam in the sun, there is something deeper, something beneath the blueprint, beneath the voice. It is the vibration that breathes life into the design, the energy that fills the empty spaces and brings the architect's vision into form. It is feeling. Feeling is the foundation beneath the foundation. It is the soil from which all creation springs. You have been taught to focus on action, on doing, on effort. You have been told that if you work hard enough, push strong enough, strive long enough, you will shape the life you desire. But the true architects of reality know differently. They know that action follows state, that doing follows being, that the outer world rises not from effort alone, but from the feeling state you dwell in. Feeling is the language of the universe, not your words, not your deeds, but the vibration you carry, the emotional signature you hold in the sacred chambers of your body and mind. This is the true signal the universe responds to, not the words you speak, but the feeling beneath the words. Pause here with me, reflect. How many times have you spoken words of hope but felt doubt beneath them? How often have you taken action toward a goal but carried the weight of fear in your heart? And did not the outer world mirror that deeper feeling back to you? For the universe in its perfection cannot respond to surface alone. It reads the vibration beneath. It speaks the language of feeling. Imagine a garden. The seeds you plant are your thoughts, your words, your intentions. But the soil, the environment in which those seeds grow, that is your feeling state. If the soil is dry with doubt, if it is hardened by fear, the seeds cannot root. But if the soil is rich with faith, moist with gratitude, warm with certainty, those same seeds bloom with ease. There is a story of Luca, a potter in a quiet village, whose hands shaped clay into beauty but whose heart was heavy with doubt. Every day he spoke of success, he planned for growth, yet his work sat unsold, his shelves full of unclaimed creations. until one evening, after weeks of frustration, he put down his tools and sat quietly by the fire. He allowed himself to feel, not the desperation of lack, but the joy of his craft, the love he poured into each piece, the pride in his own hands. He sat with those feelings, letting them fill him, letting them soften the soil of his being. And as the days passed, something shifted. Customers appeared, drawn not by his words but by the invisible thread of energy he now carried. His feeling state had changed, and the outer world responded in kind. This is the sacred work of the architect, not only to design, not only to speak, but to feel, to dwell in the vibration of the desired state. For feeling is the foundation, the fertile ground in which all creation takes root. If you desire wealth but feel lack, the universe responds to lack. If you desire love but feel unworthy, the universe mirrors unworthiness. It is not your desire that shapes your world, it is your feeling. But hear this now, it is not about forcing feeling, it is about allowing it. It is about choosing, gently, to dwell in the emotional state of the fulfilled desire, to step into the vibration of what you wish to experience, and let it become your dwelling place. Practice, cultivating the feeling state. Each day, set aside 5 sacred minutes. Choose a desire, a vision you hold in the blueprint of your mind. It could be wealth, love, peace, health. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, not what do I want, but how would I feel if I already had it? Let that feeling rise naturally. Perhaps it is the ease of security, the warmth of love, the freedom of abundance. Do not reach for the feeling, invite it. Let it wash over you, fill your body, soften your breath. See yourself already in possession of your desire, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the peace of its fulfillment. Let this feeling become the soil beneath your seed. Hold this feeling, even for a few moments, and when doubt arises as it may, simply return to the feeling. Do not argue with the doubt, do not fight it. Just come back, again and again, to the vibration of fulfillment. For this is the sacred foundation. And the universe, hearing the language of your feeling, must respond. Chapter 5. The Law of Reflection. Look around you. Every face you encounter, every circumstance you meet, every moment that unfolds before your eyes, they are mirrors. They are reflections of the unseen architecture within, responding with unwavering fidelity to the blueprint of your beliefs, the timbre of your inner voice, the current of your feelings. This is the law of reflection, an eternal principle as ancient as the stars and as intimate as your breath. The world does not happen to you. It happens from you. You stand at the center of a hall of mirrors, and every reflection you see is shaped by what you hold within. This is not mere metaphor. It is the mechanism by which the universe operates. What you see in the outer world is but the echo of what you harbor in your inner world. If you carry beliefs of lack, the world must mirror scarcity. If you dwell in feelings of unworthiness, life will echo back the same story in faces, in opportunities missed, in doors that remain closed. But when you shift the image within, when you alter the blueprint, the reflections must change. The mirror cannot lie. It reflects with perfect precision. Consider this. You cannot stand before a mirror, scowling, and expect it to smile back. You cannot frown and demand the reflection to beam with joy. Yet so many approach life this way, seeking outward change while the inner expression remains untouched. But the great architects, the master builders of reality, know differently. They know that the outer world is a canvas, and the brush is held within. They do not chase reflections. They change the image within, and the mirror responds. There is the story of Jonah, a merchant who walked each day through the market square, carrying the heavy burden of betrayal. Years before, a partner had deceived him, left him bankrupt, and though time had passed, Jonah's heart remained clenched. He expected deceit. He spoke of treachery. And so, the faces he met reflected back distrust. Every transaction, every handshake was colored by the shadow of his own inner image. One day, beneath the weight of another failed deal, Jonah paused by a still pond outside the village. He saw his own reflection in the water. Furrowed brow, tight jaw, eyes clouded with suspicion. And for the first time he realized it was not the world deceiving him, it was his own reflection cast outward. In that moment, Jonah softened. He spoke forgiveness to his own heart. He began to shift the image within, little by little, holding in his mind the vision of trust, of openness, of fair exchange. And, as the weeks turned, the market square changed. New faces appeared, opportunities unfolded. The reflection had shifted because the image had changed. This is the sacred work of the architect, not to wrestle with reflections, but to transform the source. Pause here with me. What reflections have you seen lately that disturbed you? Was it rejection? Lack? Conflict? These are not enemies. They are messengers, showing you what lives within. They are the voice of the mirror, saying, "Look here, beloved. This is what you hold inside. And though it may sting to recognize, this is your liberation, because the mirror can only reflect what you present to it. And when you shift the image within, when you soften the story, rewrite the belief, elevate the feeling, the reflections must follow. The law of reflection is not a punishment. It is power. It gives you the reins. You no longer need to chase the outer world, trying to force it to change. You need only to turn inward, adjust the inner landscape, and the mirror responds. Practice meeting the mirror. Tonight, or at any quiet moment, sit before a mirror, gaze softly into your own eyes. This is not vanity, it is communion. Speak aloud one reflection you have seen in the world that has troubled you. Perhaps it is scarcity, loneliness, or rejection. As you gaze into your own eyes, ask gently, where does this live within me? Allow the answer to rise, not as blame, but as recognition. This is your power. You are seeing the source. Now, choose to shift the image. Speak a new truth aloud. If the reflection has been scarcity, speak abundance. If it has been rejection, speak love. Let your words fill the space between you and the mirror. Feel the shift within. Even if it is subtle, even if it is small, hold that new image in your gaze. Repeat this practice whenever the outer world disturbs your peace. Do not chase the reflection. Change the image within, and the mirror will respond. Remember, life reflects you. You are the source. Chapter 6. The State of Being. There is a place beneath your thoughts, beneath the words you speak, beneath even the feelings that rise and fall like tides within you. It is the ground upon which all else rests, the state of being. This is the deepest layer of the architect's design, the bedrock upon which the blueprint is etched, the silent current from which your reality flows. The state of being is not something you do, it is who you are being. It is the vibrational atmosphere you carry, the invisible scent of your consciousness that lingers in every room you enter, in every interaction, in every breath. It is the sum of your assumptions, your beliefs, your emotions, coalescing into a frequency that speaks louder than any words. And here is the sacred truth. Your state of being is always creating. It precedes your actions. It shapes your world. Many try to change their lives through doing, through effort, through will, through action piled upon action. But the wise, the true architects, understand that doing flows from being, that the outer form rises effortlessly when the inner state is aligned. Consider a river. The shape of the land determines the flow of the water. You can struggle to redirect the current, but unless you reshape the land itself, the river will always return to its original course. So too with life. Unless you shift the state of being beneath your actions, the same patterns will repeat, the same reflections will return, no matter how hard you try to change them. Your state of being is the land beneath the river. Shift it, and the current of life will flow differently. There is a story of Mara, a teacher who longed for peace, but dwelled in anxiety. She tried every technique, meditation, affirmation, even travel, to find relief. Yet peace remained elusive. She took breaks, but brought her tension with her. She changed environments, but carried the same storm within. Until one afternoon, sitting beneath an old oak tree, she asked herself not, "What can I do to feel peaceful?" but, "Who am I being?" The question landed like a stone in still water. She realized she had been being anxious, being hurried, being overwhelmed. Her state of being was one of tension, and no action, however noble, could override that state. So she shifted, gently. She chose to be peace, not to chase it, not to seek it, but to embody it. She sat beneath that tree and felt what it was like to dwell in peace, to be still, even as the world moved around her, and slowly, the river of her life changed course. This is the invitation of the architect, not to do more, but to be differently. For when you shift your state of being, the outer world must respond. It is law. If you wish for abundance, be abundance, not in action alone, but in vibration. Embody the ease, the generosity, the flow of wealth within you. If you seek love, be love. Feel its warmth in your chest, its radiance in your being, as though it were already present, for in truth it is. The universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being. Pause with me. Reflect. What state of being do you carry most often? Is it one of lack, of tension, of striving, or is it one of ease, of trust, of fulfillment? The answer lies not in your actions, but in the atmosphere of your soul. And here is the profound key. Your state of being is a choice. It may feel habitual, automatic, but it is always yours to select. Like tuning a radio to a different frequency, you can choose to align with the vibration of your desired reality. Practice tuning the state. Each morning, before the world calls you into action, pause. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Breathe deeply into this sacred space. Ask yourself, what is my state of being right now? Do not judge the answer. Simply observe. Is there tension, ease, doubt, trust? Now, choose the state that aligns with the life you wish to create. If you seek abundance, choose to be abundance. Feel what that is like, not in thought, but in vibration. Let it fill your chest, your breath, your entire being. Say softly to yourself, I am abundance, or I am peace, or I am love, not as a wish, but as a declaration of being. Stay in this state for a few minutes. Let it settle. Let it shape the land beneath the river of your life. Throughout the day, return to this state whenever you feel the current shifting back to old patterns. Place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I am being, for this is where creation begins. Remember, dear architect, the outer world cannot help but reflect the state you embody. Choose it wisely. Live it fully. Chapter 7. The Power of Assumption. Before the world takes shape before your eyes, before the first rays of dawn scatter across the sky, there is a force quietly at work, a silent, unseen architect sketching the framework of your life. That force is assumption. It is not mere thought. It is not fleeting desire. Assumption is the deep, unshakable acceptance of something as true before there is proof, before there is evidence, before there is form. Assumption is the unseen hand behind the brush that paints your reality. Every day, with each breath you take, you are assuming something about yourself, about the world, about what is possible. These assumptions, though invisible, are the silent instructions you send out to the universe. They are the hidden laws that govern what you allow yourself to experience. They write the story before the story unfolds. The power of assumption lies not in its loudness, but in its certainty. It is the quiet knowing beneath your thoughts, the foundation beneath your feelings. And here is the sacred truth. The universe responds not to what you wish, but to what you assume. Pause here. Consider the life you are living right now. The circumstances, the patterns, the repeated themes. They are not random. They are reflections of your assumptions. If you assume success is for others but not for you, the world will mirror that back with precision. If you assume love is fleeting, your relationships will echo that belief. But if you assume that abundance flows easily into your life, the universe must align with that assumption. There is a story of Elias, a fisherman who rose each morning before dawn, casting his nets into the sea. Year after year, his catch was modest, barely enough to feed his family. He assumed this was his lot, that the sea gave sparingly, that wealth was for other men. And so the ocean, like the universe itself, obeyed his silent assumption. One morning, an old traveler came to the shore, watching Elias work. He asked, "Why do you cast your net so close to shore?" Elias replied, "Because the deeper waters are for greater men, for those born to fortune." The traveler smiled gently. "What if you assumed the sea would yield its abundance to you?" Elias, weary and doubtful, resisted at first, but that night, beneath a starlit sky, he allowed himself to assume differently. He imagined the weight of his nets heavy with fish, felt the ease of plenty in his chest, and the next morning, without conscious thought, he cast his nets further, deeper. The sea responded. The nets overflowed. His outer world changed because his inner assumption shifted. This is the power that lives within you. Assumption is not passive, it is not wishful thinking, it is active creation, the silent law beneath the visible world. And when you wield it with intention, with certainty, the universe must align. It has no choice. Feel this truth now. Let it settle into your bones. Assumption is the architect's decree. It is the line drawn before the walls rise. And though it may seem small, just a thought, just a belief, it is the seed from which your entire reality blooms. But here is the deeper key. You are always assuming, even now. The question is not whether you assume, but what you assume. Do you assume life supports you or opposes you? Do you assume ease or struggle? Do you assume love is abundant or scarce? The world reflects your assumptions with unwavering precision. But the sacred gift is this: you can choose your assumptions. You can lay down the old ones, the ones inherited from fear, from past wounds, from generations before, and you can plant new ones, chosen with care, with love, with intention. Practice the daily assumption. Each morning, before the day stirs, sit quietly, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, what am I assuming today? Let the answer rise without judgment. Perhaps you are assuming struggle, perhaps ease, perhaps indifference. Then Choose. Consciously select one new assumption to carry through the day. It could be, I assume the universe supports me, or I assume love flows to me with ease, or I assume abundance is my natural state. Speak this assumption softly. Let it echo within. Feel it settle into your being. Throughout the day, return to this assumption. Let it guide your actions, your responses, your posture. Do not wait for evidence. The evidence follows the assumption. And as you practice, you will begin to see life shifts. The reflections change. The walls rise in new designs. For this is the power of assumption, the quiet force that shapes the world before the world takes form. Chapter 8. The Inner Conversation. Within the silent halls of your mind, a conversation is always unfolding. Words rise and fall like tides, shaping the very landscape of your reality. This dialogue is ancient, persistent, and powerful. It is the inner conversation, the ongoing exchange between who you believe you are and who you desire to become. And though the world outside may seem loud and demanding, it is this quiet conversation that sets the course of your life. Pause now. Listen. What are you saying to yourself, even in this moment? Are the words soft or sharp? Are they building or breaking? Do they affirm your worth or erode it? The inner conversation is not mere thought. It is the architect's voice, steady and tireless, drafting the blueprint of your days. These silent words are not idle musings. They are commands, woven into the fabric of your subconscious, echoed back by the universe in the form of people, circumstances, and outcomes. You may speak kindly to others, offer them encouragement and grace, but what of the words you whisper to yourself in the dark? What of the phrases that rise when no one else is listening? It is in these quiet exchanges that your world takes shape. Consider this truth. Every outer conversation you have, with family, friends, lovers, strangers, is an extension of the dialogue you carry within. The way others treat you is often a mirror of how you treat yourself in these silent corridors of your mind. The universe listens in on these conversations. It responds, not to what you say aloud, but to what you consistently say within. There is a story of Alaric, a poet whose words flowed like rivers on the page, but whose inner conversation was a drought. Outwardly, he spoke of beauty, of love, of abundance, but within his voice whispered doubt, scarcity, and fear. His life reflected this duality. His poems were praised, yet his heart felt hollow. His work reached others, but his own soul remained untouched. One evening, sitting before the flickering flame of a candle, Alaric chose to listen, truly listen. He heard the quiet stream of words that spoke beneath his surface. You are not enough. You will never be more than this. These words, so familiar, had become the soil in which his life grew. But in that moment, he made a sacred decision to change the conversation. He began to speak differently to himself, gently, consistently, even when it felt unnatural. He whispered, I am enough. I am worthy. My words matter. And though the old voices resisted, though they returned like echoes from the past, he held to the new script. Over time, the outer world began to shift. His work deepened. His relationships softened. The universe mirrored the new conversation. And Alaric came to know this profound truth. The most important words you will ever speak are the ones you say within. Your inner conversation is the architect's song. It hums beneath the surface, shaping the ground on which you walk. And though it may seem subtle, though it may seem inconsequential, it holds the power to shape your destiny. And here is the deeper invitation. You can choose your conversation. You can rewrite the script. Just as a playwright revises a scene, just as an artist reshapes the clay, so too can you reshape the dialogue that crafts your reality. The universe responds not to the volume of your words, but to their consistency, to the feeling they carry, to the assumption they hold. Practice crafting the sacred dialogue. Each evening, before sleep wraps you in its gentle veil, sit quietly. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe deeply. Listen for the words that rise within. Without judgment, hear what you say to yourself. Do these words serve you? Do they lift or lower you? Choose one phrase, a single line, to rewrite. If the old voice says, "I am not capable," speak instead, "I am more than capable. I am a masterful creator." If the old whisper says, "I am always left behind," say instead, "I am always aligned with perfect timing." Repeat this new phrase softly, letting it settle like a warm stone in the river of your being. Let it ripple outward. As you drift into sleep, let this be the last conversation you carry, the sacred dialogue that builds the blueprint of your dreams. Remember, the words you speak within become the world you walk without. Chapter 9. The Law of Receptivity. There is a law more subtle than action, more powerful than striving, more ancient than any written code. It is the law of receptivity, the sacred principle that governs your ability to receive. And while many seek to create, to manifest, to shape their lives through desire and intention, few pause to ask, am I truly open to receive what I am asking for? Am I prepared not just to pursue, but to allow? To receive is not passive. It is not idle waiting. It is an active alignment, a conscious opening, a willingness to let the universe deliver in its own mysterious and perfect way. For while you may send out desires, speak your intentions, hold your visions, it is receptivity that opens the door for those blessings to enter. Pause for a moment. Feel this truth. How often have you asked, but secretly doubted, wished, but quietly closed the door, wanted, but felt unworthy? These are the subtle walls that block the flow. For the universe does not withhold, it only meets the space you create. There is a parable told of Elene, a weaver in a windswept village, who longed for abundance. Day after day she spoke her desires aloud, asking for wealth, for opportunity, for freedom from struggle. But her hands remained clenched, her heart guarded, her mind filled with doubt. The loom stood silent, the threads unwoven. One night, in a dream, she stood before a vast ocean, its waves glittering beneath the moon. She held a small cup in her hands, asking the sea to fill it. But her grip was so tight, the water could not enter. The ocean whispered, "Loosen your grasp. Open your hands. The sea does not withhold." Eleni woke with the dawn, her heart softened. She understood at last. Asking is not enough. To receive, one must open. She began to live differently. With each request, she asked herself, "Am I making space for this blessing?" She softened her hands, her heart, her mind, and slowly the loom began to move again. Opportunities flowed. The threads of abundance wove themselves into her life. This is the sacred invitation of receptivity. To loosen the grip of control, to release the clenched fist, to open the hands of your heart and allow the universe to give. For the universe is always giving. It is the great giver, the ceaseless source. The question is never, will the universe provide? The question is always, am I willing to receive? Receptivity requires trust. It asks you to surrender the need to control the how, the when, the form. It asks you to trust that the universe knows the path better than your limited mind. It asks you to believe in your own worthiness to receive. You do not need to earn what is already yours. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of the blessings that await you. You need only to open, to align your state of being with the vibration of receiving. Imagine the flower that opens to the sun. It does not chase the light. It does not strive for warmth. It opens, softens, and allows the sunlight to pour in. So too must you become the flower, ready, open, receptive. Feel this now. Where in your life have you asked but not opened? Desired but not allowed? The walls we build, of doubt, of unworthiness, of control, block the very blessings we seek. Practice the sacred opening. Each morning, as the day begins, place your hands gently over your heart. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply into the space beneath your palms. Speak softly, "I am open to receive." Feel the words not as a command, but as an invitation. Let them ripple through your chest, softening any tightness, any tension. Now, envision one desire. A blessing you have asked for, longed for, dreamed of. See it approaching. Feel its presence near. Notice how your body responds. Do you tense? Do you shrink? Do you doubt? With each breath, consciously soften. Open the space within. Imagine your heart as a vessel, wide and welcoming, ready to receive. Repeat, "I trust the universe to deliver in perfect time and form. I am open to receive." Carry this openness through your day. When challenges arise, when doubt creeps in, return to the sacred opening. Place your hands over your heart. Breathe. Repeat the invitation. For the law of receptivity is always at work. The universe is always pouring. The question is, are you open? Chapter 10. The Art of Surrender. There is a moment in the creation of anything where the hands must release, where the breath must soften, where the architect steps back from the blueprint and allows the structure to rise on its own. This is the sacred space where the art of surrender begins. It is not the abandonment of your desires, not the giving up of your vision, but the opening of your heart to let the universe carry what you cannot control. You have laid the foundation, spoken the words, held the feeling, shaped the blueprint with care. But there comes a time in every sacred work where holding too tightly begins to suffocate the very life you are trying to birth. Surrender is the release, the trusting handoff of your desire into the currents of the unseen, knowing that the same power that guides the stars will bring your vision to fruition. But surrender is often misunderstood. It is not resignation. It is not defeat. It is not the passive retreat from life's possibilities. No, surrender is an act of profound courage. It is the conscious decision to trust the infinite intelligence that moves through all things, to release the grasp of your limited mind and lean into the expansive wisdom of the universe. Pause with me here. Feel into your body. Where are you holding tight? What desire are you gripping with fear, with urgency, with control? And how does that grip feel? Tense, rigid, exhausting. There is a story of Leona, a gardener who loved her roses more than anything. Each morning, she tended to them with precision, measuring every drop of water, scrutinizing each leaf, shielding them from every breeze. Yet, despite her efforts, the roses struggled. Their blooms remained small, their colors faded. One day, weary from the endless striving, Leona sat beneath the shade of an old oak and whispered, "I release." She stopped measuring, stopped controlling. She watered when it felt right, tended when it called to her, but she released her tight grip, and in that softening, the roses bloomed brighter than ever before. They had needed space to grow. So it is with your desires. They need room to breathe. They need trust, not control. For when you surrender, You open the channels for the universe to do what it does best, to orchestrate, to align, to bring forth the manifestation in ways beyond your imagining. Control is rooted in fear, the fear that if you do not hold on, all will collapse. But surrender is rooted in trust, the knowing that the invisible forces of life are working for you even when you cannot see them. And here is the sacred paradox. The moment you release control is often the moment everything begins to align. When you grip too tightly, you restrict the flow. Your energy contracts, and the universe, which mirrors your state, responds with the same constriction. But when you soften, when you trust, when you release the need to know the how, the when, the exact path, the universe expands. It moves with grace, with ease, weaving together the threads of your desire in ways you could never have forced. This is the art of surrender, not giving up, but giving over, not abandoning your vision, but releasing your need to micromanage its unfolding. It is stepping back and allowing the great architect, the universe itself, to take the blueprint and breathe life into it. Practice the sacred release. Tonight, as the stars rise, find a quiet space. Sit with your back straight, your hands open on your lap, palms facing upward. Breathe deeply, letting the tension of the day fall away. Bring to mind one desire, a vision you have held, perhaps tightly, perhaps with urgency. Feel its weight in your heart, the edges where you may have been gripping too hard. Speak softly, "I surrender this," to the universe. Say it again, "I surrender this desire to the wisdom that knows the perfect way." Feel the shift in your body, the softening, the release. Let the universe take it. Trust that it is being held, being tended, even now. When doubt arises, as it will, return to this sacred release. Whisper to yourself, "I trust the process. I surrender to the flow." Let this practice become your daily ritual, a gentle reminder that you are not alone in the act of creation. The universe is your partner, and when you release your grip, you make space for miracles. For surrender is not the end of creation, it is the space where creation breathes. Chapter 11. The waiting is the becoming. Between the planting of the seed and the harvest, there is a sacred space. Between the moment the desire is spoken and the moment it materializes, there is a stretch of time where nothing seems to move, where the soil remains undisturbed, where the world offers no visible sign that the seed is growing. This space is known as the waiting. But what the world calls waiting, the wise call becoming. For it is in this space, this sacred interval, that you are being shaped into the vessel that can hold the manifestation you have called forth. The waiting is not empty. It is the womb where the new reality gestates. It is the unseen work, the silent alchemy, the quiet weaving of threads that will soon become the fabric of your life. The waiting tests your faith, yes, but more than that, it grows you. It stretches you into alignment with what you have asked for. It clears away the remnants of the old, making room for the new to take form. It prepares you, not because the universe withholds, but because the becoming must match the blessing. Pause here with me. How many times have you mistaken the waiting for delay? How often have you grown restless in the quiet, mistaking the stillness for abandonment? But beneath the surface, the roots are growing. The soil is working. The design is taking form in the unseen. There is a story of Jonah, a craftsman who longed for a new opportunity, a commission that would lift his work from obscurity into recognition. He carved with care, he spoke his desires, he felt them as real. But days turned into weeks, and no messenger came, no door opened. His heart grew heavy, his faith wavered. One afternoon, walking along a riverbank, Jonah noticed the willow trees, their roots deep in the earth, their branches bending toward the water. He realized they did not rush. They did not demand the sun or the rain. They grew in their own time, trusting the rhythm of life. He returned to his workshop, and in the waiting, he began to become. His work softened, deepened. He crafted not from desperation, but from presence. And one day, when the season had ripened, the opportunity arrived, not just as he had asked, but greater than he had imagined. The waiting had shaped him into the man who could hold the blessing. This is the sacred truth. The waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the space where you become the person who lives the life you have called forth. The universe is never late. It is precise, aligning all things, weaving together timing, people, circumstances. And while you wait, you are invited to dwell in trust, to become more fully aligned with the vibration of your desire, to grow into the space that can receive it fully. The caterpillar does not rush the chrysalis. The bloom does not force the petal to open. Life unfolds in seasons, and your desires are no different. But here is the key. The waiting is not passive. It is not resignation. It is an active becoming. It is the choice, moment by moment, to align with trust rather than fear, with faith rather than doubt. Every moment you spend in alignment with your desire, even when it is unseen, is a brick laid in the house of your becoming. Practice embracing the becoming. Each evening, as the day softens into night, find a quiet space. Sit with your spine tall, your hands resting gently on your knees. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply, letting your body soften, your thoughts settle. Bring to mind a desire you have planted, one that has not yet come into form. Notice how you feel about the waiting. Is there tension, impatience, doubt? Now, softly speak to yourself. The waiting is my becoming. I trust the unfolding. Breathe into this truth. Feel it settle into your bones. Imagine the desire as a seed beneath the soil. Though you cannot see it, know it is growing. Envision the roots extending, the stem rising, the bloom preparing to open in its perfect time. Repeat softly. I am becoming the person who lives this reality. Let this practice remind you that even in stillness, the universe is moving. Even in the waiting, you are growing. And when the season ripens, the harvest will come. For the waiting is not empty. The waiting is the becoming. Chapter 12. The Mirror of Gratitude. There is a mirror unlike any other. It does not reflect what is, but what can be. It does not show the lines of your face or the form of your body, but the shape of your soul, the rhythm of your heart, the vibration of your being. This is the mirror of gratitude, the sacred lens through which your world transforms, not because the outer changes first, but because the inner shifts into alignment with abundance. Gratitude is not a response. It is not something you offer only when the harvest is full, when the desires are met, when the blessings are seen. No, gratitude is a cause. It is the soil in which blessings grow, the mirror that reflects back not what you have, but what you are ready to receive. Pause and breathe this in. Most believe gratitude follows the gift, that it comes after the manifestation, after the evidence. But the architects of reality know differently. They understand that gratitude precedes the blessing, that it is the signal to the universe, the energetic blueprint that says, I am ready, I am aligned, I am open to receive. To live in gratitude is to live as though the blessing has already come. It is to walk through your days, not with eyes fixed on what is missing, but with a heart full for what is becoming. This is the mirror that shapes your world, that calls forth the unseen, that draws into form the desires whispered in your soul. Consider the story of Amara, a healer who longed to expand her reach, to touch more lives, to offer her gifts to the world. But her eyes remained fixed on the emptiness, the quiet phone, the stillness of her practice, the absence of those she wished to serve. She prayed, she hoped, but her focus remained on what was not yet present. One morning, standing before a mirror, she looked into her own eyes and asked, "What am I reflecting?" She realized. Her gaze had been one of lack, her posture one of waiting. She chose, in that moment, to shift, to see herself as the healer she already was, to give thanks not for what had come but for what was becoming. Each day she whispered gratitude, for the clients on their way, for the healing already flowing, for the lives she was destined to touch. And though the outer world remained still at first, the mirror began to shift. Her heart softened, her energy expanded, and in time, the clients came, drawn by the unseen magnetism of her gratitude. Gratitude does not wait for evidence. Gratitude creates evidence. It is the echo that precedes the sound, the reflection that calls forth the image. When you live in gratitude for what is and what will be, you align your vibration with abundance. You speak to the universe in its native tongue, the language of receiving, of openness, of trust. And the universe, ever faithful, reflects that energy back to you in form. But here is the deeper key. Gratitude is not just for the obvious blessings, it is for the hidden ones too. For the challenges that shape you, for the waiting that grows you, for the unanswered prayers that redirect you toward greater paths. The mirror of gratitude reflects all of it, the seen and unseen, the given and the yet to come. Practice. Gazing into the mirror. Each morning, before the world stirs, stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes, not as a stranger, but as the architect of your life. Place one hand over your heart and breathe deeply. Speak aloud 3 things you are grateful for, not just from the present, but from the future as well. Thank the universe for blessings that have not yet arrived, as though they are already here. For example, whisper, "I am grateful for the opportunities flowing to me now. I am grateful for the love that surrounds me. I am grateful for the abundance unfolding in my life." Feel the words. Let them settle into your being. See your reflection soften, your eyes brighten, as gratitude shifts the image within. Carry this gratitude with you through the day. When challenges arise, when doubt whispers, return to the mirror within and speak thanks, not as a reaction, but as creation. For gratitude is not a mirror of what is. It is the mirror that shapes what will be. Chapter 13. The Energy of Allowing. There is a current that moves beneath the surface of life, a soft, fluid force that does not push or pull, but simply flows. This is the energy of allowing, the sacred river upon which all manifestation travels. It carries the desires you've planted, the visions you've tended, the intentions you've spoken, and it asks only one thing of you, that you do not dam its course. Allowing is not passive, though it may seem so to the untrained eye. It is the art of stepping aside, of letting go of resistance, of ceasing the struggle that so often arises between desire and doubt. It is the delicate balance between holding the vision and releasing the need to force its arrival. Pause for a moment. Consider how often you have planted a desire and then stood over it with clenched fists, with questions, with fears. When will it come? How will it happen? What if it never arrives? These thoughts are walls. They are stones cast into the river, blocking its flow, disrupting its natural course. Allowing, by contrast, is the soft opening of the heart. It is the trust that once you have set your desire in motion, the universe will carry it toward you on unseen tides. It is the willingness to let go of the need to control every detail, to stop digging up the seed to check if it is growing. There is a story of Matteo, an artist whose hands crafted beautiful sculptures, but whose heart was bound by fear. Each time he released a piece into the world, he clung tightly to the outcome. He watched, he waited, he worried, seeking validation, grasping for recognition. And though his art held beauty, it seldom reached the hands of those who would cherish it. One day, in quiet frustration, Matteo sat beside a stream. He noticed how the water flowed effortlessly around stones, how it met obstacles not with resistance, but with grace. The stream did not demand the mountain to move. It simply allowed, finding its way. And in that moment, Matteo understood. His fear, his grasping, had been the stones in his river. He returned to his art, still creating, still loving the work, but he released the need to control what came next. He allowed the universe to guide his creations to the right places, the right hands. And the flow returned. His sculptures found homes. His heart, once tight, softened into trust. This is the energy of allowing. It is not the absence of desire, it is the absence of resistance. It is knowing that once you have cast your intention into the universe, your task is not to force its fulfillment, but to remain open, aligned, ready to receive. Allowing is the natural counterpart to desire. Desire sets the course. Allowing carries it home. Feel this truth. Where are you clinging too tightly? Where have you planted a desire but refused to step aside and let it bloom? The river knows its way. Your only task is to remove the stones, to open the channels, to allow the current to carry you. Practice the sacred flow. Find a quiet space, perhaps near running water if possible. A stream, a fountain, even the sound of water flowing. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply, imagining a river flowing through your being. Bring to mind one desire, a vision you've planted. Notice if there is tension around it, a tightness in your chest or mind. Feel where you may be holding on too tightly, resisting the flow. Now, with each exhale, release the grip. Imagine removing stones from the river, letting the water run freely. Repeat softly to yourself. I allow. I trust the flow. I release the need to know how or when. Feel the softening in your body. Imagine your desire being carried gently downstream toward its perfect unfolding. Carry this energy with you throughout the day. When impatience rises, when doubt appears, return to the river within. Breathe, release, allow. For the energy of allowing is the current that delivers all that you seek. Chapter 14. The Rhythm of Trust. There is a rhythm that underlies all of life, a cadence that beats beneath the ticking of clocks, beneath the rising and setting of suns, beneath the ebb and flow of the tides. It is steady, eternal, unhurried. This is the rhythm of trust, the pulse of the universe that invites you to align not with the frantic tempo of fear, but with the calm, assured beat of faith. Trust is not a static thing. It moves, it breathes, it has a rhythm all its own. It does not demand constant action, nor does it shrink into passivity. Trust sways like the trees in the wind, rooted yet flexible. It leans into the unseen, feeling its way forward, allowing the universe to guide its steps. But many of us, in the rush to manifest, in the hunger to see results, abandon this rhythm. We speed up, we grasp. We try to force life to move faster than it does, dancing to the beat of fear rather than the steady drum of trust. Pause here with me. Feel into your body. What rhythm have you been moving to? Is it the frantic beat of impatience or the calm, grounded pulse of trust? Trust asks you to slow down, to listen, to tune your being to the tempo of the universe, which never rushes and never delays. It operates in perfect time, weaving together all things, orchestrating events in a dance so intricate, so precise, that the mind cannot comprehend it. There is a story of Soraya, a dancer who longed to master a particular performance. She practiced endlessly, her movements sharp, precise, but disconnected. No matter how hard she worked, something felt off. Her body outpaced the music. Her steps rushed ahead of the song. One evening, weary from repetition, she sat beneath a star-filled sky and listened, not to the music of her craft, but to the music of life itself. The wind, the rustling leaves, the distant pulse of the earth beneath her feet. She began to sway, not to her own rhythm, but to the rhythm of the world around her. When she returned to her practice, something had shifted. Her movements softened. They aligned with the music's flow. She no longer danced ahead of the song, she danced with it, as one. And the performance that once felt forced became effortless. This is the rhythm of trust. It is not about doing more or doing less. It is about aligning with the natural pace of life. It is trusting that the universe knows the beat, that your desires are part of a greater song, and that they will arrive at the perfect note, the perfect time. Trust is not just belief in the unseen. It is moving in harmony with it. It is the willingness to let life unfold, step by step, without rushing the dance. Feel this now. Where have you been out of rhythm? Where have you pushed ahead, trying to force life to play faster than it does? Can you feel the dissonance, the strain? And now, imagine softening into the rhythm of trust. Feel your breath slow. Feel your body sway with the pulse of the universe. Let yourself be carried, not hurried. Practice, tuning to the rhythm. Each evening, as the day winds down, find a quiet space. Sit or lie comfortably. Close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. Breathe deeply. Listen, not with your ears but with your being, for the rhythm of your breath, for the pulse beneath your hand. Notice its pace, its steadiness. Now, imagine this rhythm expanding, syncing with the beat of the earth beneath you, the tides, the winds, the stars. Feel yourself aligning with the rhythm of trust, the knowing that life is unfolding in perfect time. Repeat softly to yourself, I trust the timing of my life. I move in harmony with the rhythm of the universe. Stay in this space for a few minutes, letting your breath, your heart, your spirit tune to this deeper tempo. And when the mind urges you to rush, to push, to dance ahead, return here. Feel the rhythm. Trust the beat. For the rhythm of trust is the music that carries all things into perfect form. Chapter 15. The Embodiment of Creation. There is a moment in every act of creation when the seed becomes the tree, when the thought becomes the thing, when the invisible becomes the seen. It is not a flash of lightning nor a sudden dramatic birth, but the gradual becoming of form as spirit drapes itself in flesh. This is the embodiment of creation, when what you once only held within begins to take shape around you. And though the journey begins in the unseen, in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your assumptions, it must complete itself in your body, in your actions, in your being. To embody is to live the truth of your desires now, to carry the vibration of your vision in every cell, in every gesture, in every breath. Pause with me. Feel the weight of your body, the rise and fall of your breath. This body is not separate from your creation. It is the vessel through which your reality is born. Your body is the sacred temple where the invisible becomes visible. Every movement, every posture, every word spoken carries the frequency of the world you are calling forth. You cannot simply think abundance. You must walk abundance. You must let it roll through your shoulders, sway in your step, glow in your smile. You cannot merely wish for love. You must be love. You must embody its warmth, its openness, its radiance, as though the love you seek already courses through your veins. The great architects, the masters of reality, understand this. They do not wait for evidence to appear before they embody the state they have chosen. They live now as though the vision has already come to pass. They move, they speak, they breathe from that place. And the universe, always obedient to vibration, shapes itself accordingly. There is a story of Darius, a merchant who longed for success but carried himself like a man burdened by failure. His back was hunched, his gaze low, his words soft with doubt. He spoke of abundance, yet embodied scarcity. And so, despite his efforts, the world mirrored back the posture he carried. One day, passing by a group of dancers in the market square, he paused to watch their movements, the way they held themselves with grace, with presence, with certainty. And something within him stirred. He asked himself, what if I stood as though success were already mine? What if I spoke, walked, breathed, as though I had already arrived? He began to shift, not just in thought but in form. He stood taller, his words grew stronger, his smile widened. He embodied the merchant he desired to be. And slowly, the outer world reflected this shift. Opportunities appeared, partnerships formed. The success he had longed for came, not because he chased it, but because he became it. This is the sacred power of embodiment. It bridges the gap between the invisible and the visible. It calls forth your desires by becoming their living vessel. But embodiment is not performance. It is not pretense. It is not acting as if. It is being as is. It is the authentic alignment of your inner state with your outer expression. It is living your truth before the world confirms it. Feel this now. What desire have you held only in thought, only in feeling? How might you embody it today? Not by waiting for evidence, but by carrying its frequency in your body, in your words, in your movements. Practice becoming the vessel. Each morning, stand before a mirror or in an open space. Breathe deeply. Feel your feet grounded, your spine tall, your heart open. Bring to mind one desire you are calling forth. Perhaps it is wealth, love, peace, success. Close your eyes and feel its vibration within you. Let it rise from your chest, your belly, your breath. Now, ask yourself, how would I stand if this were already true? How would I speak? How would I move? Begin to embody that state. Roll your shoulders back. Lift your chin. Let your smile reflect the truth you are choosing to live. Walk across the room as though your desire is already yours. Repeat softly to yourself, I am the embodiment of my creation. I live my vision now. Carry this posture, this breath, this energy with you through the day. Let your body speak the language of your desires, for the universe listens not only to your thoughts, but to your being. Remember, creation completes itself in embodiment. You are not waiting for the world to change. You are becoming the change. Conclusion. The architect awakened. Now, as the final chapter unfolds and the echoes of these teachings settle into the quiet chambers of your heart, you stand at a new threshold. You are no longer simply a seeker of wisdom, no longer merely a dreamer of possibility. You are the architect awakened. The blueprint of your life rests not in distant stars, not in the shifting sands of circumstance, but in your hands, in your mind, in the steady rhythm of your being. This journey was never about acquiring new tools or gathering external knowledge. It was about remembering the ancient truth that has always lived within you, that your reality bends to the shape of your beliefs, that your inner voice commands the form of your world, that your feelings and assumptions, your trust and surrender, weave the very fabric of your existence. The sacred laws whispered through these chapters, the law of reflection, the rhythm of trust, the power of assumption, the art of surrender. These are not distant, inaccessible forces. They are the breath in your lungs, the pulse in your veins, the thoughts that rise and fall like waves upon the shore of your mind. They are yours to wield. As the architect, you now know that creation does not begin outside, it begins within. That the seed planted in silence, nurtured with feeling, embodied in action, and released with trust will always bloom in its season. The universe is not separate from you. It moves with you, responds to you, shapes itself to the frequency you emit. And now, as you close this sacred book, feel the quiet certainty settling into your bones. You are no longer waiting for life to happen to you. You are happening to life. Every desire, every dream, every whispered intention, they are the bricks and mortar of your becoming. And as you move forward, the world will reflect what you now embody, the awakened architect, the creator of your own experience. But this is not an ending. It is the first note of a new song, the rising of a new sun. Remember these truths. Your beliefs are the blueprint. Your inner voice is the architect's pen. Your feelings are the fertile soil. Your assumptions are the silent decrees. Your trust is the rhythm that carries them home. Your surrender is the opening where miracles flow. Your embodiment is the bridge where the unseen becomes seen. Carry these principles not as burdens, but as sacred companions. Let them walk beside you, whispering reminders when the world grows loud. When doubt rises, return to the rhythm of trust. When impatience stirs, soften into surrender. When the mirror shows lack, shift the image within. You have become the architect. You hold the pen. You shape the form. As you step beyond these pages, know that the universe moves with you. The unseen forces that orchestrate the stars, that guide the rivers, that turn the seeds into forests, those same forces move through your life, responding to your vibration, your trust, your becoming. You are no longer the observer of life. You are the creator, the weaver of the unseen into the seen, the architect awakened. Let this be your final decree. I am the architect of my life. I design with love. I build with trust. I surrender with grace. The universe and I move as one. And so it is. If this journey awakened something deep within you, if these words became more than just teachings but a mirror reflecting your own power, then I invite you to share this sacred message with others. Like, share, and subscribe so that this light may reach those who are ready to remember who they truly are. Together, let's build a world where the awakened architects rise. Thank you for walking this path. Your journey has only just begun.